5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Deducter bringing you the ace game between STX and SK Telecom 1. Both teams now sending out their top players. Looks like we have Bisu going to be the ace player for SKT1 and Bogus. Bogus as the orange Terran at the 3 o'clock position, playing as the ace for STX, and Bisu as the blue Protoss at the 12 o'clock position, playing for SK Telecom 1 on the map Icarus, which is essentially even PvT. It's like 46%. So basically 50-50 here. There's no real map advantage for either player. It's interesting to see that STX didn't send out who I thought they might send out, either Com or Cal. They're, arguably their best players. Instead, they sent out Bogus, who's actually pretty good Terran player. With a 55% win rate overall, he's definitely making a name for himself. But he's got to go up against Bisu here. Bisu, one of the top players of all times, legend in his own right. If Bisu has a weakness, it would be against Terran, but I think Bisu is really, he would only show that weakness against one of the absolute best Terrans, and we'll see whether Bogus has what it takes today to enter that upper echelon of players, or he's going to fall victim here to Bisu. Winner of countless ace matches, by the way. Bisu's been very clutch about these ace matches. So a lot riding here on Bogus. Bogus, though, is actually an excellent versus Protoss player with 57% win rate versus Protoss. So, if anyone, any Terran on STX has a chance, it's going to be this guy. Still, I think it might have been more interesting to see a Com versus Bisu game. I guess both Com and Cal lost for STX, so maybe their coach is not feeling too confident about sending out either one of those players. Cal losing to a no-name Protoss in PvP, so it's not too encouraging there for him. And Com losing to arguably another no-name Protoss, Bisu, not the best player, and Com still lost. So yeah, I guess this is why they're sending out Bogus here on Icarus. They figure Bisu's, their SKT is going to bring out either Bisu or Fantasy. It's pretty much their choices there. And this guy Bogus also has a good versus Zerg record too, like 58% or something. So pretty good choice now that I think about it in terms of the ace. Looks like Factory going down here for Bogus. Or maybe that was. The Factory, okay, yeah, the Factory going down for Bogus. I was correct about that. So we're next course spinning for Bisu. He's getting his range upgrade now. Nothing too weird from either player. It looks like Bogus is going to scout wrong. He's not going to find Bisu until the last scouting position. Interestingly enough, Bisu not going for his customary early scout. By now, usually Bisu would have, in fact, like a minute ago, Bisu would have sent his probe out. He really relies on his scout, but this is kind of uncharacteristic play from Bisu here, putting down 2 gateways. He's going to go for some sort of fast push. This does not look like the build he used against Flash in the Pro League Winners League Finals. Because that was just 1 gateway pumping Zealots straight. He's not building any Zealots here. He's putting down 2 gateways and then getting his expansion nexus and then scouting. So he must have optimized this build such that he's going to squeeze out as many Dragoons as possible in the early going here. Now Bisu's going to run into these Marines, but Bisu clutch with his probe, not even getting a hit on his probe there. From any of these Marines, although Bisu's not going to be able to sneak by to see what's going on in Bogus's base. Bogus now spotting Bisu last, but it's not going to bother him too much because he's seen everything that he needs to. Unfortunately, Bisu looks like delayed building Dragoons for some time. If he built Dragoon earlier, he would have been able to put it on the ramp and block Bogus from scouting this. I actually think that would have been pretty useful, considering it's unorthodox to go 2 gateway nexus. So Bogus scouting that is actually going to be quite helpful for him. Looks like Bogus might be pushing out a bit here with his army. He's spotted the 2 gateways, so he must know that he's not going to be able to do much in terms of push. I think he needs to stay in a defensive posture. He's getting some extra Marines here, maybe even put down a bunker at his front, just to be sure. He needs to make sure he does not lose the game to Bisu so early. Bisu with excellent Dragoon micro, picking away at these Marines. They're pretty much all near death now, the Marines, I feel. And a few more hits should do it. Looks like Bogus decided to push out with both tanks and 6 Marines. 6 near-death Marines. He's putting down his second factory. He's not going for the expansion. He's going to counter this early aggression from Bisu with early aggression. Excellent! Look at that. Epic Dragoon micro from Bisu, killing all the Marines and one of the tanks while losing only 1 Dragoon. Bogus, I told him not to push out. I thought he should have stayed in defensive posture, but he's not listening to me. Not that he can hear me. He's pushing out with his army. His puny army of 1 SCV, 1 Vulture, and a siege tank. He's going to have his second factory up soon. If he gets lucky with his mines, he'll be okay. If Bisu is not careful and loses some Dragoons to mines, but otherwise, Bogus is really bluffing here. He's got nothing with which to pressure Bisu. Bring that tank out, so vulnerable. I guess he's trying to use the tank to bait some of the Dragoons into mines, but Bisu's not falling for that at all. Surely Bisu's almost got his robotics bay up, if not the observatory. Yeah, he's already got his robotics bay up. Observatory's already up too, so he's going to have observers out to deal with this very soon. Bisu looks like he's getting ready to put down his 3rd base. I mean, why not? He's not going to be threatened at all by this Bogus, and Bogus is elected not to put down his expansion. I don't know about this, Bogus. I think if he can't do enough damage in the next minute or 2, he's going to be out of this game completely. Bogus sneaking 4 Vultures into Bisu's main. If these Vultures can cause great havoc, Bogus can be in a decent position. Mines killing 1 Dragoon thus far, but the observers are already out. These Vultures are starting to pick off probes. Interestingly enough, Bisu brought all his Dragoons back, so Bogus actually has position with his puny frontal assault force in the Bisu's Natro. I mean, he's got 1 tank and 1 Vulture there. That's nothing. Bisu dragging the mines into the Vulture with near-death Dragoon. That's probably worth it. So Bisu, if he left like 2 Dragoons at the front, he'd be fine. Looks like more Vultures coming to harass Bisu's main. Now Bisu pushing out his Dragoon. He's going to take down this tank. That tank down. Bogus is fully committed to using pure Vultures as a harass. He's really mass-producing these Vultures here. But one of these long battles, I don't think Vultures are going to cut it against Dragoons. Looks like Bogus might be posturing with one of his SCVs to build his expansion now. He is doing significant harass on Bisu here, Bogus is. He's at least causing a lot of havoc. He hasn't killed too many probes, but he's delayed mining considerably and forced Bisu to stay the entire time in his space in a defensive posture. However, now his harassment has petered out. He's got nothing left with which to continue the harassment. Bisu's got a Shadow out, possibly with, I would imagine, Zealots or Dragoons here. I don't think he got a robotic support bay. I think he actually has nothing in that Shadow. He's just using it as sort of a bluff, showing Bogus here that he has a Shadow. I mean, Bogus knows Bisu doesn't have a robotic support bay. I bet it's actually got a Dragoon or maybe a Dragoon and 2 Zealots. No, it was empty, so interesting use of the Shadow there by Bisu, sort of causing doubt. Empty Shadow, he's got nothing, but he's caused a bit of doubt there in Bogus' mind, and now using this Shadow to ferry 2 Dragoons to pick off a building SCV, delaying this expansion. And I feel at this point Bogus is in serious trouble. He hasn't quite done the damage he wanted to do with that harass. He's just now, he hasn't even finished his second command center, so he's way behind on economy, whereas Bisu, his economy is now flourishing. He's got no problem. He's already put down his Templar Archive and Stargate. He's going to have Arbiters in the next minute or 2, and he's not going to be bothered by any sort of attack that Bogus can do. Bogus' army simply not able to launch any sort of attack at this point. Bogus does have that Wraith out to ward away the Shadow, so that's one good thing that he has going for him. And not that Bisu really can cause too much havoc with that Shadow without either High Templar or Reavers. Bisu still not put down his third base. I guess he's a little concerned about any sort of attacks coming from Bogus, although I don't see why he should be concerned. I haven't seen an observer for him really scouting out Bogus' base. I mean, if he scouted out the base, surely he would have put down the third expansion. The second expansion, his third base already. And only now is Bogus getting his engineering bay. So Bogus is still significantly behind. At this point, I guess the only real thing he can do, he can't afford to push out. His army is just going to get destroyed. He can, however, stay in his base and continue building up a few units. And hope that he can win a field battle. Goad Bisu into some sort of frontal attack against the entrenched line. Looks like Bisu with Dark Templar dropping. The Wraith gonna pick off the shuttle, but Bisun has nothing with which to detect these Dark Templars. Dark Templar are just going nuts. There's no academy. Looks like mines are gonna get dragged into all these tanks. 2 tanks go down to 1 Dark Templar mine, and with that, Bisu's decided he's got enough to launch a frontal attack. And I think I think that poor Bogus here is going to have absolutely nothing with which to stop Bisu. He's got 2 tanks on the ledge. Those are going to one of which goes down. He still has 1 tank on the ledge, which can do a lot of damage, but Bisu is not going to care about that. I think Bisu is going to go ahead and try to kill the command center. He even kills the tank on the ledge. The academy is still building now for Bogus, and Bogus is... This is going to be GG right here. Bogus is probably going to stay and fight for a little bit more since this is the ace match for his team, but Bisu's got 9 Dragoons running amok in Bogus' natural. Bisu's not even bothering to target down the command center. Such is his confidence in victory here. Bogus using his SEVs to stop these Dragoons, and then using the tanks to pound away at the Dragoons here, causing significant casualties with his tactics. However, he's losing so many SCVs, Bisu's not going to care. Even if Bisu loses all these Dragoons, he's not going to be bothered by it at all. Bogus' economy is completely devastated, whereas Bisu has a second massive Dragoon force that he's bringing right now. Bogus does have 3 tanks out. With his SCVs and the tanks, he should be able to hold out for some time yet against these Dragoons. But it looks like Bisu doesn't even care about how disadvantageous his attacks are, and just brute forcing his way through, forcing a GG from Bogus. So excellent play by Bisu this game. A bit baffling play by Bogus. I have no idea why he went for the sort of early attack he did. He saw the 2 gateways. He knows Bisu must surely be ready for this, and he responded not with an expansion, but with early aggression. I just did not pay off for him this game. So SKT1 takes the set 4-3. Pretty exciting series. Thank you for watching.